Hi everyone, welcome to week 3, yoga for abs. If you're ready, let's get straight into it today. We'll inhale, take the arms up. Exhale, release. Inhale, reaching up. Exhale, bring the right arm down, the left arm coming up nice and high over to the side. Let's breathe some space right into that side body, opening up in between the rib cage so we can have some space to breathe in our practice today. We'll inhale back through center and exhale down to the opposite side, up and over. Taking the gaze down to your bottom hand, maybe even up to the top, or keeping it straight ahead. A few rounds of breath here. Inhale up, exhale over to the other side. One more, full round. Squeezing the shoulder blade together at the back of the body, helping to open up the front of the chest. Inhale up, exhale left side. Inhalation coming all the way up, both arms, and exhale, release. Well done. Give the shoulders a little roll out. And then we'll come forward all the way down onto the tummy. Taking the hands underneath your shoulder blades, keeping the neck nice and long as you press the tops of the feet into the mat so the kneecaps lift. Take a nice big inhalation, squeezing the shoulder blades together. And as you exhale, lifting the head and the chest up off the mat, keeping the neck nice and long. Maybe even lifting the hands a little, making sure you're not pressing yourself too high up. You want to just use that core strength to stay here. One more full round of breath. And then exhale, release all the way down. Give the legs a bend through the knee and a rock side to side, releasing the lower back. And then we'll take that one again, pressing the tops of the feet right down into the mat. This time bringing the hands out nice and wide, so you've got about a 90-degree bend through the elbow. Coming up onto the fingertips, pressing down through the tops of the feet, the hips right into the mat, nice big inhalation. And as you exhale, lifting the chest, coming up nice and high. Keeping that neck long, maybe a little bit higher than you were before. Opening up the chest. See if you can lift a little higher using those core muscles, pressing the pelvis right down into the mat. And then we'll take a few rounds here as you inhale, lifting. And exhale, bring the right shoulder down to the mat. Head comes over to the side. Inhale back up through center, and we'll take it over to the opposite side. Gazing at your opposite hand. Inhale up. Exhale, shoulder dip. Inhale up. Exhale, shoulder dip. One more full round, inhaling through center. Exhale, over to the left. Inhale up. One more on the right side. Inhaling through center. And then release all the way down. Take the hands down by your side and give the hips a little rock, side to side. Bring the hands underneath the shoulders. Push the mat away. And we'll bring the knees to come into our tabletop position. Tuck the back toes under and then walk the hands back. So coming back into a kneeling position. Now if this feels a bit strong on the backs of the feet, remember you can always come down right onto the tops. Otherwise staying here. We'll take a few rounds of our seated cat-cow, bringing the arms out in front. Interlace the fingers, push the mat away. Round through the back. Let the head hang down. And then we'll inhale, release the grip. Bring it back behind you, interlace the fingers. Squeeze the shoulder blades together, hands together. drawing down the back as you open up the front of the chest. Releasing the grip, bringing the hands out in front. Interlace the fingers, push them away, round through the back. And then releasing the grip, back behind you one more time. As you inhale, breathing some space right into the chest, opening it up, receiving the breath into the tops of the lungs, into the heart, and releasing the arms. Let's come forward, tabletop position, tap the tops of the feet out, releasing the tension. Nice stretch for the soles of the feet, and then we'll come with the hands, about one hand span further forward than usual, and tuck the back toes, downward facing dog. Pedal out the heels, make any adjustments that you'd like here. Really nice deep rejuvenating pose, helping to calm the mind. So if it's your first one for the day, just easing in gently, pressing down through the hands, squeezing the shoulder blades up towards the tailbone as the tailbone reaches up towards the ceiling. Bend through the knees, just a slight bend, and the heels reaching down for the mat, but that's okay if they're not touching. That's fine, we'll get there, no stress at all. For Adho Mukha Svanasana, couple more rounds of breath here. If you need to come down onto the knees, you can definitely do so. Gentle nod and shake of the head. And then we'll come forward just slightly. We're going to press the forearms down into the mat, keeping the hands really spread. And we want the forearms right underneath the shoulders, so right in line with the shoulders here. You can let the head go. Feel the shoulder blades really switch on. We use those core muscles as well for our dolphin pose. We'll hold here for a few rounds of breath if you can. If you need to come back, you can take Adho Mukha Svanasana, downward facing dog, or if you prefer, you can take child's pose or any variation to have a rest that you like. Otherwise, a few more rounds of breath here, maybe even coming up onto the toes, seeing how that works the shoulders and the core. If you're shaking, that's fine. And then we'll come back up onto the hands, downward facing dog. Stretch it out. And come all the way forward, coming through our plank position. We won't hold it just yet. And chaturanga, coming up onto the toes, pushing forward, and then releasing down, hugging the elbows right into the chest. As you come down, nose, chest, knees, all landing at the same time. We'll inhale, coming up through cobra, and exhale, release the head down. Push back to tabletop position, and we'll take the knees out nice and wide, toes, big toes together touching, and send the hips back for our downward facing warrior pose. Rest the head right down, and just take a few deep rounds of breath here. Letting the body feel nice and heavy, sending those hips back towards the toes. A few deep rounds of breath, connecting back in with ourselves, just noticing how we're feeling. And from here, pressing back to our wide tabletop position, bring the knees in, tuck the back toes, lift the hips, downward facing dog. Let's lift the right leg nice and high, three-legged dog. And just as we were practicing last week in week 2, hug the knee right up into the chest, hold it here, pause for a moment, and then see if you can step all the way up in between the hands. Take a few steps if you need to. And sinking the hips down, keeping the knee lifted. We'll come up onto the fingertips, pressing down. We want the knee right above the heel. Taking the gaze out in front of you. From here, we'll inhale, lift the arms up if you can, and we'll hold here. Back leg lifted, hips strong, both pointing forward. A few rounds of breath, really feeling those legs work. Bring the hands down to heart center, palms together, and we'll take the knee on the elbow on the knee of the knee on the inside, pressing the palms as you spiral the chest open, even taking the gaze up towards the ceiling. You're losing your balance, that's fine. Keep working on it. You can come back to any stage of the pose. We'll all meet back here in the center, and then we'll take the elbow over to the outside of the knee, spiraling through the spine, pressing the palms together, and again taking the gaze up towards the ceiling. Generating some heat through the body. One more inhalation. Exhale back to center. Let's take the hands down. Drop that back leg and just ease the hips forward, opening up through the hip flexor. Press the hands into the mat. Let's straighten that leg and take a nice stretch through the front hamstring, bringing the body, squaring the chest over the front thigh. Whew. Just letting go of that heat that we were generating there. Whew. Still feeling it. Squaring the hips off, back behind you. And then we'll flow forward, let the hands down into the mat. Tuck the back toe, lift the back knee, step back, downward facing dog. Few rounds of breath here, just noticing any different feelings through the legs. And then we'll inhale, lift the left, taking the toes up towards the ceiling. Hug the knee right into the chest, pause here, hold it up, and then step all the way through in between the hands. Keeping that back knee lifted, hips come forward. We'll come up onto the fingertips first, taking the gaze forward. And then inhale, arms up, hips down, hips square to the front, knee right over that front ankle. More inhalation, and exhale, palms together. We'll open up to the right this time first, pressing the knee. Oh, nearly lost it. Pressing the elbow to the inside of the knee and spiraling the heart forward, taking the gaze up. More inhalation and exhale back through center and over to the other side. Oh, nearly lost it. Take the elbow outside of the knee, press through the hands, trying to keep the balance here, choosing a focus point, and then spiraling the chest open to the side, maybe taking the gaze up towards the ceiling. Hanging in there, one more inhalation, back through center, and exhale, release, plant the hands. Drop the back knee, breathe some space into the right hip flexor, resting it down, and then we'll send the hips back, lengthening through the left leg, bringing the toes in towards you, and letting go that heat that we've generated, squaring the hips back behind you, and breathing some space into the left hip, into the left hamstring. One more inhalation. And as you exhale, plant the front foot, hands either side, tuck the back toe, lift the knee, step all the way back. Adho Mukha Svanasana, downward facing dog. Whew, still puffed. Here we go. Hang in there, guys. It was week 3. This is getting serious. And so from our downward facing dog, we'll bring the knees all the way down nice and slow. And untuck the toes, send the hips back. Let's take a little rest in extended child's pose. Keeping the arms out in front. And letting the head rest down onto the mat. Just checking in with how we're feeling. Grounding ourselves down. One more inhalation. And then we'll press back. Up, downward facing dog. Just bring your hands forward a touch more if you've got a long body. And then we'll float forward. We'll come into our plank position. Hands right underneath the shoulders. A little bend through the elbows so they're nice and strong. And coming forward all the way up onto the toes. Bringing the body forward. One long line between the heels and the crown of the head. You can come down onto the knees if you need to. Still holding here if you can. And then press back down facing dog. Resting here. Okay. Whew, here we go. Come forward one more time. Pressing down. Now bring the right hand right underneath your nose, so into the center of the mat. And we'll roll over onto the nice edge of the right foot. Now, supported version first. Step the left leg in. And release the top arm up towards the ceiling. So we've got our foot, our left leg planted to help support us. You can take this variation, definitely take it if you like, or if you're used to taking a side plank, you can take both feet together, flexing through the toes, and then lift the top arm. Making sure to keep the hips lifted as well, and even taking the gaze up towards that top hand. One more inhalation. And as you exhale, we'll come back, plant the left hand, take the right hand back over, and we'll meet in downward facing dog. Whew. And float forward, coming through plank. Take the left hand right underneath the nose, rolling over onto the nice edge, the pinky side of the left foot. Top arm comes up. Take your variation, whether you step down and plant that right leg, or keeping the toes flexed, stacking the feet one on top of the other, and then maybe taking the gaze up towards the ceiling. Keeping those hips lifted. One more inhalation, and exhale, release. Send the hips back. Downward facing dog. Whew. And we'll come down to the knees one more time. Give the wrists a little rock. And bring the hands down. Tuck the back toes. We'll lift the hips, keeping the head drop down. So come into Uttanasana, our forward fold. Letting the body hang down here. And then walking the hands over to the left side. Breathing some space into the side body. More inhalation. And as you exhale, coming through center, over to the right. And coming back to the center. Let's take our halfway lift. Hands to shins, flat back. And we'll inhale to come all the way up, flat back. Exhale, release. Turn around so we're at the top of the mat. Grounding down through the feet. Take a little bend through the knees, tuck the tailbone under, open up the palms towards the front, Square the shoulder blades, opening through the chest, squeezing them down the back, and taking a couple rounds of breath here for Tadasana, mountain pose. Just feeling nice and grounded, still catching your breath, checking back in. And then we'll inhale, take the arms up and over to the side, either side. Inhale through center and over to the opposite side. Inhale up, exhale, release the arms. Let's take the hands to the hips and send the right leg back at one leg's length. Taking the toes in about a 45-degree angle and taking a lunge through the front knee. That knee right over the front, over the top of the heel. We'll inhale, lift the arms up, coming to warrior two. Taking just a couple breaths here, only a quick stop. Checking with those arms. And then we'll take the left arm down just above the knee as the right arm comes up for our extended side angle pose. From here, you can release the bottom arm down, pressing it in right into the lower leg, lifting the hips. And then we'll bring both arms down, rounding them down either side of the foot as we take the weight forward onto the left leg as the right leg will kick that up and push it back behind you. We can keep the hips open and you can stay here working on the balance, or if you feel able, plant the left hand down and we'll extend the right leg, the right arm up towards the ceiling, coming into our half moon pose. Keeping the toes pointed back behind you, maybe opening up the chest, using that bottom hand to balance. One more inhalation, and we'll exhale, release the top hand, release the leg down, bring it right in next to the left for Uttanasana, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift, and then all the way up. Exhale, release. Let's take it to the other side. You can swap over or come to your new top of the mat on the opposite side. Take the hands to the hips, send the left leg back, about one leg's length. Heel slightly out, toe slightly in. Warrior two, lunging through that front knee. Inhale the arms up. Checking in with the arms, settle the shoulder blades down the back, and then we'll come forward for our extended side angle pose. You can rest the forearm just above the knee, making sure you're not pressing too much weight down into it, or extend that arm down and press it into the lower leg. And from here, bring the left arm down, plant the hands either side of the foot, and then we'll take the weight forward into the right leg, kick the left toes up, maybe option to stay here with both hands helping you, keeping that little micro bend through the supporting leg, or taking the right arm down, maybe up onto the fingertips as you lift the leg, as you lift the left arm, spiraling the chest open, maybe even taking the gaze up towards the ceiling. Oh, I'm not sure if I can do it. Or keeping the gaze down, the spot in front of you. One more inhalation, and exhale, release the arms, and bring that left leg right in. Let the head and the neck drop down. Uttanasana, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift, and then we'll come all the way up. Exhale, release. Well, we're done, everyone. Let's take a seated position on our mat. So taking a seated position with the legs out in front, take a little bend through the knees, Take the toes in towards you, arms out by your side for Dandasana. Just taking a few rounds of breath here, starting to cool the body down just a little, letting go of all that heat that we've been building in the standing postures. You can shut the eyes down if you like. Draw the crown of the head right up to the ceiling. And just enjoying knowing that you've been doing something so wonderful for your body today. Maybe feeling those core muscles really switching on now, helping to keep us seated. You're using them all the time. This is why it's so good to strengthen the abs and all our core muscles, all of our muscles in our entire bodies. We're always using them for everything we do. So it's nice for them to be in the best possible condition. We'll take one more inhalation and exhale, blinking the eyes open. Let's take a bend through the knees, bring the hips forward a little, planting the feet down. We'll take the arms out by our sides and round through the back, and we'll slowly come down all the way, one vertebrae at a time, all the way down onto the back. Here we go. Hug the knees into the chest. We'll rock side to side, just warming up, releasing the lower back. Some circles on the ceiling, and then we'll plant the feet down. See if you can reach down with your fingers and touch the back of your heels. Give it a little tickle. That's how close we want to be. And then walk the feet forward just a touch. And we want the feet right in line with the hips. So the feet are about hip width apart. Plant the hands down and just tuck the shoulder blades underneath you, sort of rolling them underneath. Take a nice big inhalation. And as you exhale, slowly start to lift the hips up towards the ceiling. Keeping the neck nice and long, being mindful not to turn the head in this position. And keeping the knees and the feet that hip width for our bridge pose. We'll take a few more rounds of breath here, or slowly come down if you need to. One more inhalation, and then exhale, slowly releasing the hips down. Take the knees in towards each other and heel toe the feet out to the sides of the mat so the knees can drop in towards each other. Just resetting the back, letting go of any tension. And then we'll take the bridge pose another time, bringing the feet back in line with the hips. Taking a nice big inhalation as you plant down through the hands and lifting the hips up towards the ceiling. Your option to stay here, or if you like, can interlace the hands underneath the body and roll a little further over onto sort of the outer edges of the forearm to help lift the hips a little further. Really keeping that neck nice and long. Tiny tuck of the chin to the chest. And a few more rounds of breath here. Really lifting those hips up towards the ceiling. Keeping the knees in line with the hips. Not letting them splay out or come together. Just nice and strong. Firm foundation. Pressing down into the feet. One more inhalation, letting go of the grip, taking the arms back by your side, and exhale, release, come all the way down. We'll take the knees for a windscreen wipe, just taking them over side by side, releasing the hips and the lower back. And then coming back to center. Take the hands up underneath your head, just in the base of the skull. And we're going to take the right elbow in towards the center as the left knee comes in as well. And then release out. And we'll do it on the opposite side. Left elbow to right knee. And then release the leg out. Swapping sides. Taking it nice and slow. Keeping the leg lifted as it extends if you can. Taking a few bicycle crunches just to finish off the practice today. Really nice and slow. I've lost count, but we'll do a couple more. One more each side. And then release down. Whew. Let's take the knees in towards the chest and let them come over to the left. Open up the arms. You can take T-shape or cactus through the elbows. Breathing some space into the lungs, into the chest. So we take our supine twist. Our second last posture of the practice. Inhale up through center, lifting the legs over to the other side, keeping the shoulder blade firmly on the mat. And one more inhalation, coming up through center, and release the legs all the way down, nice and wide. Take the arms down by your side, away from the body, palms facing up. Tuck those shoulder blades under to open up the chest for our final resting pose, Shavasana. A very well earned one today. You can pause the video, try and stay here for around 5 minutes, maybe 10, 15, as long as you can. Just allowing yourself to feel heavy. The body releases down into the mat, letting go of any tension in the face, letting the eyes roll back in the head, the jaw release, noticing any wonderful sensations through the body as we've fired all these muscles and lengthened all these muscles. Just enjoying these sensations and enjoying a sense of fulfillment to carry with you through your day. Pause the video here if you'd like to stay a little longer. And then when you're ready, reach the arms up, full body stretch, fingers to toes, and rolling over onto your favorite side. You can bring the knees up, using the hands to help you come up. We'll take a seated position, bringing the hands to heart center. I'm really proud of everyone who's been following along. You're doing so well. Namaste. And if you're enjoying these practices, please feel free to leave me a comment and let me know how you went today. It was a bit of a struggle, I know. I'm going to be feeling it as well. Subscribe to my channel if you'd like to see more. And the next video will be out soon.